Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're gonna go ahead and install these springs right here from H&R on the FX37 to go ahead and lower it. If you guys watched the previous video, I just installed some GTR wheels and the gap is pretty bad. So installing these springs right here should help out when lowering it just a little bit to give it that look that we're trying to accomplish. Now, in the previous video, I did mention that I still may need to upgrade the tires. So that's something that I still may do in the near future, but we need to get an alignment as well because I did notice that the car kind of sways a little bit to the right or left. And I even did this before I installed the GTR wheels, but when I look at the tires, I can see that one kind of sticks out a little bit more than the other. So let's go ahead and throw these bad boys on the car. So here are the H&R springs that I picked up from a guy locally here. This is actually the same guy that I picked up the paddle shifter shrouds from. I went to go ahead and pick these up from him. He just wanted my stock springs with a little bit of cash on top, and I got a good ass deal on these as well. You guys are probably thinking like, damn, getting so many good deals on the FX, and honestly I really am. These things usually go for like $200+. So he also provided these struts. These I don't plan on using them. One, because it looks like he cut off this bolt right here. Not really exactly sure why. He said he needed it for something. And then this one does have it. That's how it's supposed to look right there. But I plan on using mine anyways because these have a lot of miles on them. I believe he said that these have over like 140K miles. Mine only have about 110. That's if they haven't been replaced. I'll check them out and I'll see the condition of mine. But my goal is to go ahead and remove these from this right here, so I'll still be able to show you guys the process on how to remove your stock suspension top hats. Gotta take this off right here, and so far it looks like it's pretty good. It's not stripped or anything, so it should come off pretty easily. But the best way of removing this right here is by using like an impact gun. We'll take it right off, but you do need to go ahead and compress the springs so it doesn't like fly out. So we will have to rent that tool out. I plan on doing this another day because I don't think I have enough time today, and I don't plan on lowering it right now. I'll most likely do it, I would say, next week. Alright, so I have my compressor right here. I already removed one, and it was kind of a risk, but to break it loose, I used the breaker bar and a wrench stuck in between, and then I already loosened it, so now it should just come off. Alright, and just like that, these things come off. So these are the front ones right here. Those are the rear ones. The rear ones are a lot bigger, so you can't get those confused. And these rubber bushings still look pretty good. So I don't think we'll need them, but I'll keep them just in case. Now I did get the spring compressors right here from AutoZone to take off the stock ones from the FX, since there's a good chance that it might shoot out the bolt and everything, which we want to prevent that. So I got this right here to compress it, so it holds it down so it doesn't spring up when we remove everything. So this will make it a little bit easier. AutoZone rents it for free. Just gotta take it back once you're done with it in order to get your money back. It's like 50 bucks. So let's go ahead and remove the wheels from the FX and start taking off the front struts first, since that is a whole lot harder. And then we will work on the rear, because the rear will honestly take me like less than 10 minutes to do both sides. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to try to do is loosen the top bolts right here, which it doesn't look like I have enough space to do, because it'll be easier to break it loose while the strut is being held in versus trying to do it when it's out. that. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Alright, there you go. They're all loose. So top is done. Now, one thing to really keep in mind when doing this, and I know it's from experience because I've done this multiple times on cars, when you are doing the front, you always want to lift both wheels in the front when removing the sway bar end links. The reason why is because if one wheel is on the floor, it makes it extremely difficult to actually remove one side of the sway bar end link if one side is touching the floor, because of the pressure it's pushing up on the sway bar, which is not allowing it to come out easier. So word of advice, lift up the entire car from the front. So let's start doing that. Alright, so these are all 21 mils. Okay, all loose. This side right here as well. And then I'm gonna put a rotor in the back to stop the wheel or the car from rolling back. Best practice. Just like that. That'll prevent it from rolling back. We have the emergency brake on already, but just in case. Okay. And then you want to look for a lump down here with a hole in the middle. That's where you want to jack it from. Right there. Not sure if you guys can see that. And then we're going to put jack stands on the side. Okay. Goes right there. Right where that lump is. Something right here. Right where that lump is. Alright, and there you go. Just shake the car. Make sure it doesn't move. Now we can take off the wheels. Alright, so these should all be 17s right here. I can't remember for these, but I think they might also be 17s. Okay, 17. 17, 17, 17. So they're all 17s. Remove all that. But you also have to remove this up here. This will allow the assembly to drop down. Okay. Oh, that's actually a 14. So this is a 14. This will allow the assembly to drop down. I would for sure remove all this stuff first though before proceeding with this to make it easier. Okay, it's spinning. So hold it. There's that one out. This one's out too. Okay. Alright. Alright, just like that, this is out. Remove that washer. Okay, so now we can loosen the top bolts. And then this should come out a little bit easier once we can move that out. You could have removed this as well, but I don't think it's necessary right here. So let's just focus on loosening that too right there. That should be a 12. Yep. So 12. Alright, so loosen this.
and then take off these ABS lights, or ABS lights, these ABS wires right here. Once you take this off, put this back on so you don't lose it either. Just like that. Alright, now the top ones can be removed. Alright, now grab your 14 for this right here. Okay. Now this is going to be loose. Okay. Now here's the trick to this. Hold this down. Take this out. Okay. Now that's going to slide up. Hold this in place. Take off this bolt. Okay. Then this will slide right out. Pull up. Get this stuff out of the way. Just like that. And she's out. Alright, now we gotta compress this right here. This is why we need these. If you don't have an impact, you can use a wrench, but for sure impact gun is gonna make this your life a whole lot easier. Alright, so here's where you really need an impact gun. I should use my extension right here, but this is gonna make it a lot easier for this part right here. See that? A whole lot faster. Alright, there you go. And then this, now you can just loosen it to get it off of there. So reverse. Do it slowly. Alright, so we got this on. It actually fits a little bit easier in here with the new spring installed. Now, let me show you guys a trick to get the strut back in there with no issues. So, first of all, put this in there. Okay, just like that. Put the nut back on. Up. Put it under. And then just reel it in. So, push up. Alright, there you go. Just like that. Then I'll put this back in there. Push it in. Put this back in there. Put this in there as well. Okay. And now put these on here. Makes it a whole lot easier with the jack to get everything in there. And then one thing to make sure before you put everything together, brake line's over here, ABS system is over here. So they're separate on each side. Just like that. Put a hand tight right there. there, right there. Alright, now keep in mind that when you do this, because the other strut is like off, we haven't done the other side yet, this is going to be hard to put in, see? So do the other side and then reattach this. Once you're done with the other side, it'll slip right in. So don't struggle trying to put this one in there. Just tighten everything else with the exception of this right here. Alright, so here's the other side done as well. And this is what I was talking about right here. So now that this side is loose, you can move it up to position it where you want it. And just like that, and the same thing with the other side, it'll just go in just like that. So we're practically done. Let me just tighten up all this stuff right here, and then we'll put the wheels back on and we'll check out how the front looks. Alright guys, we're pretty much done with the front. Just gotta go ahead and tighten down the lug nuts. It looks a little bit lower, but not that much lower. Oh, yeah, it's a little bit lower, but not like a huge difference. I mean, it is a little bit better, but we still got to do the rear, so maybe dropping down the rear would make it look better. Alright, now the rear. There's a 6-finger gap right there. So let's see how much lower it gets installing them. The front, yeah, I did go down a bit. Like before, I know it had like 2 more finger gap right there, just like the rear. So I'm assuming it brings it down about 1.5 inches. But for sure looks a little bit better. Now the rear is going to be a lot easier because all you got to do is take off a bolt, drop the spring, put the new one in there, and that's really it. So let's get started with the rear. Alright, so for the rear, it's as simple as just taking off this 17 mil. And then an opening the wrench right there to hold that one in place. Alright, so leave this in there, throw this in there, and looks like it goes like this. Throw this back in here. Alright, let's look from this side, because it looks like it's angling it. Alright, there you go. And then push this in. Just like that. Alright, let's drop it down now. Okay. I think that looks the same. Maybe it's got to settle in. The front does look lower for sure. The rear looks the same. Maybe it's gotta settle in. I don't know. I don't have the key, so I can't jump in the car. Let's compare the stock ones. So they're the stock ones. I mean, there is a difference. See that? There's a difference in how it looks, so it should make it lower. Maybe it's just gotta settle in. Alright, so for this right here, I have these other ones right there. I don't know if I can use this instead of this right here, because you can kind of see that it's a whole lot thicker. And I'm wondering if I can use this instead to make it lower. Okay, so I feel like that would make a huge difference, adding this right there. I have two of them, so I'm thinking about doing that instead. I think it'll make a huge difference, because see how like thick this is? It'll make it a little bit lower. So let's just try it out. If I like it, good, we'll keep it that way. If not, I'll take it off and put this one back on. Alright, now let's lower this side right here. So remember, this has the different spring bucket and 4 inches though. Okay, I think it did make a small difference. So right here stuff like 2 fingers. Right here I have 4 fingers and 1, so 5 fingers. So it did drop it down 1 finger. So for sure, we're gonna remove this from the other side and install this one over here. This is from an M45. And it's just like, I think, the bottom piece. Or you could remove the bottom one and put this on there, which is gonna make a small difference. And I think they're still gonna settle in a bit once I drive it, but for sure looks better. I still think you need at least 50 sidewalls. Even 40 would look better, but for sure like 50 or 45. Alright guys, so there she is with the springs installed. And right now it's like a 4 finger gap. I think it might go down a little bit once we drive around, but it was like at 5 fingers before I swapped out that top hat. And then over here it is 4 fingers, like exactly, or maybe a half. So the front sits a little bit higher, but maybe it'll settle down a little bit once we drive around. But it looks a whole lot better being a little bit lowered. It still needs a little bit more. I think going with like fatter tires, like a 50 sidewall would for sure clean up the gap and it'll look perfect. I'll throw in some before and after pics so you guys can see the difference. But for sure looks better. That small drop, I think it only dropped about 1 inch, if not 1.5 inches. Maybe right now it's like at 1 inch. Once we drive around, maybe it'll settle down to about 1.5 inches for sure. But these wheels look so sick on this car. Alright guys, so today is the next day. I did drive the car yesterday for a few hours, and it did actually lower a little bit in the rear. It went down like another finger, and the front pretty much stayed the same. It's at about a 4 finger gap right there, as you can see. The rear is at 3. So removing that bushing or that rubber piece and adding the other one made a finger of a difference, which is good because it does look nice. But the front is a little bit higher. Now at this angle it looks really sick and it does look lowered. It looks pretty badass, but I think it still needs those fatter tires to look a little bit better. But overall, it looks really clean. I like it a lot. And of course the sidewall is going to make a difference because I have 40s in the front, 35s in the rear. If I had 40s in the rear as well, I wouldn't need to drop it that much. It would make that slight difference, but it's thicker tires, so I think it makes up for it. I'm installing these right here. I just got this in the mail today from Amazon. These are made of steel. I don't like aluminum. I would honestly avoid aluminum just because it can strip very easily versus steel. So that's my take on lug nuts. I always go with steel. Lasts a lot longer. Man, these are pretty nice. As you can see, it's already making a nice difference on the wheel. But let me pick it up once I install all of them so you can see the difference between like regular lug nuts versus like aftermarket ones. Alright, so all the lug nuts are installed now. As you can see right there. Same thing on the back right here. Looks nice. And I went with black because I plan to do a chrome delete on the entire car. So might as well start putting black accents on it. Doing that black as well, most likely. And something else I wanted you guys to notice is going to be tire sizes. So this one is a 35 sidewall and looks almost the same as this right here, which is a 45 sidewall. A little bit bigger, but you can see that the tire size will make a difference on how much it fills in the gap. So for sure I would go with like a 45 sidewall or a 50 on these GTR wheels. These are also 20s actually as well. These look pretty nice on the QX50. But for sure in the front right here, you'll notice more of that drop. On the side you can't tell too much because of the tire size, but it looks really clean.
Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and end the video right there. The car honestly looks amazing right now. I'm really happy with how it looks. And that little drop did make a pretty big difference now that I look at it from a distance. Especially when I was going to the store the other day, I was looking at it in the dark. It looked pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. The wheels do complement it a lot, especially with that slight drop. But for the rear, if you want to even it out, keep the top hat stock, because then that will most likely even it out to be the same. In my case, my back is a little bit lower than the front, which I don't think it looks too bad. I would still like the front to be, you know, pretty even. So in order to fix that, I would either have to lower the car a little bit more by getting like some coilovers or cutting the springs, which I don't think I'm gonna do. Or I can just go with the bigger tire size to fill in that gap, and then do the same thing with the rear, and then put the stock top hats back on to even it out as much as possible. But overall, it looks amazing. Really happy with the wheel choice. Looks aggressive. And hopefully this helps you guys out. I know the video was very detailed. I made it that way specifically because I didn't see any videos that went over how to install H&R springs on your QX70. And this might even help out other platforms such as like the QX50, the EX35, EX37, all those. It's going to help you guys out as well because it's pretty much the same suspension components as well, such as the FX35, things like that. So this should help out a lot of you guys in installing springs if you want to do this. And luckily for me, I got them for a really, really good deal. Versus paying $250 for them brand new, I saved a lot of money again. But next video, we will be doing a chrome delete. Deleting a few of the chrome pieces as well, such as like the headlights. I have seen people do like black housings. It looks really, really good with the black housings. Chrome delete, same thing on the back as well. I don't want to do the grill until I do the oil cooler install. I do have an oil cooler as well as just sitting in my garage. But I don't want to do that yet until I have to do my oil change. Because I have to remove the bumper in order to fit up the oil cooler. So might as well all hit it at once at the same time. But that's what's going to be coming in the next few videos. And maybe the big brake kit upgrade. I do have them on my Z. And I might just move them over because the Z honestly just sits here. I never drive it. And that would be the finishing touches to the wheels and everything to really put it together. I will go ahead and link down the lug nuts as well. So you guys can go ahead and pick those up if you're interested. Like I said, I really prefer steel. Aluminum just strips very easily from past experience as well. Especially if you take it to like a tire shop, which I no longer do. I'll just take my wheels over there, have them put on the tires, take the wheels back, put them on my car. numerous times, you know, tire shops, they just end up stripping everything, and it's pretty annoying having to replace studs and lug nuts and stuff like that. I also linked down H&R springs if you guys want to pick those up as well. I believe FX50 has different spring compression rates. I could be wrong, but just look into that to make sure it's the right one for your car, because of course the FX50 has a different weight limit than the FX37 does due to the engine size. But thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.